So, good evening one and all. Welcome to this, the first round of the Century Sim Racing Formula 3 Championship, live from Silverstone. My name is James Whitehouse and I am going to be your guide this evening. We are in iRacing, we are at Silverstone, we are in Formula 3 cars. It's the Dallara 317. It's a slightly older specification Formula 3 car. I believe it was the car that they were using just before they started using the Halo. Yeah, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers this evening, and they are currently, I believe, heading out for qualifying. So let's just have a look at the what am I looking for here? The race info. Let's have a look at this here. So, of course, like I said, Silverstone, 21 degrees, fairly balmy British afternoon, a slightly strong breeze, 19 kilometers an hour there. Track temperature 36 degrees, and unfortunately, Leon Chambers is not able to join me this evening. Moving on, let's go and have a little look-see at some driving. So here is Pete Harrod, the current World GT champion, of course. We had an event here on Saturday night, and I saw Pete, and I spent all evening referring to him as World GT Champion Pete Harrod, and I think he was thoroughly sick of that by the end. So we're in qualifying now. The drivers have just completed a 30-minute practice session. They are currently now doing a 10-minute qualifying, and then we will be heading into 2 races of 15 minutes. The first race will be the grid decided from the results of qualifying, and then the second race will be decided using a reverse order from the results of race 1. So let's have a little look-see where we're at. We've got Tom Illingworth. Here he comes. I think that he's about to start a lap. Here's Ollie Kemp. Looks like he's heading down towards Cops. Is he on an out lap? I think he might be. So let's have a look at the lap times thing. I wonder how to get rid of this graphic. Okay. So here's Tom Illingworth anyway, he's on a lap. See if I can get a slightly different camera angle. Yes, there it is. I have a lot more control than I had during the little test session, so thank you for joining us if you are watching us for the second time this season, technically. Sort of second point once. If you will, we'll have a look at Pete Harrod, because I think that he's slightly further up the road. Or is Cam Reedy on a lap already? So he's coming across the line now. What is that? No, he's on his out lap. So we'll go back to Pete Harrod, I think, because I believe he's the furthest up the road. Yes, I think he will be. So Tony Draper's purple all over the gaff. We'll stay with Pete Harrod, I reckon, because he's going to be the first to complete a lap. So he's purple in the third sector. iRacing, of course, divides the lap up into more than 3 sectors. So we've got 5 slightly smaller sectors, which I think is pretty useful, actually. So let's see what Tony's got in his 3rd sector. I wonder what Ted Bradbury's up to. Ted Bradbury, of course, I believe he topped practice by a couple of tenths, but we'll see. So Pete, this is Pete now. So he's just coming around the last couple of corners. Let's see what the first lap of the session looks like from Pete. Pete Harrod starts with a 1 minute 55.2. He's going to need to find some time, I think. We'll have a little look at Tony Draper, because he's currently on a good-looking lap. He's got a load of purple sectors. The only green sector he's got was where he was beaten by Ted Bradbury. So this looks like Tony coming across the line now. Tony Draper goes fastest with a 154.5. That puts him 7 tenths clear. But let's see what Ted Bradbury's got. Yeah, he goes fastest, so 154.33. So the gap, less than 2 tenths. I think that's Tony should be pretty pleased with that, with the opening gambit there. Let's have a little look at Pete Harrod. Here he is. So he's purple in the 2nd sector. A little bit of time to find still. Time's coming up on the board now. Andy Archer, P4. Very limited running for Andy. In the build-up to this, he's, by his own admission, been very busy so far this week. I want to see if I can get this timing tower to come up properly. Because as it stands, that is no use to us. Let's have a little look-see. There it is, that's better. Okay, cool. You're welcome, everybody. So we're watching Pete Harrod now. Tony Draper going fastest in the third sector, but he's yellow in his first one, so I think that we've got some good sector times coming up. Where's Ollie Evans? Is he on track? Yeah, there he is. So he hasn't set a lap time yet, but that must mean that he had a lap invalidated. He only bought this car about a half hour before practice started. Still had time to pick that nice Mercedes-looking livery. So what's he done there? P. Harrod goes fastest with a 154.2. Not a lot in it as it stands. So we're still waiting for a time from Ollie Evans. So let's see what he's got. Let's have a look at Tony Draper because he's got a purple sector there. Is this coming around the last corner? Yes, it is. So Tony Draper, that was a 54.39. That is a new personal best, but it still puts him about half a second off the lead. Ted Bradbury goes fastest with a 153.8. There he is. So if you are watching, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Say hello in the comments. I want to hear from you. We've got a hello from Mick Dan. Hello, Mick. Nice of you to join us. Once again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Smash that bell button because it means that we will let you know whenever we go live, and you definitely need that information. So as it stands, with about 2.5 minutes left, there is. Ted Bradbury is on pole position currently. A provisional pole, 153.8. A 154.2 for Pete Harrod, 154.3 for Tony Draper. Ollie Kemp in P4 with a 155.2. I would guess right now that they're going to, because this session, as soon as the clock strikes 0, that's the end of the session. You don't get to finish the lap that you're on. So, with that in mind, I would guess that you want to be starting your lap about now-ish. So I don't think that these two that we're watching right now are going to get. I believe that this is going to be their last laps. So we've got a purple sector from Tony Draper. Let's see what he's got to pull out the bag, and is he going to have enough time to start another lap? I'm not 100% sure that he is. So he crosses the line now with about 1:40 to go. So no, that's not going to be enough. Where's Pete Harrod? So I think Pete might be the last to finish a lap, so we'll see what he's got. 3/10 off pole currently. We'll stick with him because, like I said, I believe that this is going to be it. So lap time's looking pretty decent so far. 3 drivers in the 54s, a couple of drivers in the 55s. I'm expecting a good battle between Ollie Kemp and Cam Reedy. And of course, don't forget there is a reverse grid race for race 2, which is always spicy. I love a reverse grid. So Pete Harrod, 2 yellow sectors followed by a purple sector so far. It's really cool that we've got these graphics, I must say. Ted Bradbury on a purple and personal best lap so far, but like I said, I don't believe he's going to be able to finish this lap. So this is Pete coming out of. Oh, he's heading down towards Stowe right now. So yeah, I think he'll get time to finish this lap. Yeah, it goes yellow again. I don't know that he's going to improve on this lap, unfortunately. Pretty aggressive turn in there. Oh, it strikes the curb as well and loses it. Yeah, that's it for Pete Harrod, I'm afraid, for this session. So let's see is anybody behind him? Who's this? So that's Cam Reedy heading down towards Maggots and Beckett's. He's not going to get a lap in. This is Andy Archer heading down through Stowe, but he's not going to get time to finish this either. So I would guess that that's it. In fact, yeah, I was absolutely correct. That is it for this session. So I wonder if I throw up the results thing. Let's have a little look and see if... Yes, it does. Excellent. So, Ted Bradbury on pole with a 153.8. 3/10 down on him is Mr. Pete Harrod, World GT Champion, of course. Tony Draper lines up third on the grid, about half a second off pole, followed by Ollie Kemp. They had a really nice battle in our test session last week. Cam Reedy starts P5, Andy Archer P6, Tom Illingworth P7, and Ollie Evans P8. I don't think, and he didn't get a lap time in. So, I'm curious to see if there is a... Yes, there is. I should have brought this one up initially. All right, cool. Everyone's excited. We're looking forward to the race. What do we reckon, chat? Is Ted Bradbury going to run away with it, or what? If you've just joined us, welcome to the Century Sim Racing Formula 3 Championship. My name is Jim Whitehouse. You can call me James as well if you like. And I am your host this evening. We've just had qualifying. That is what is up on your screens right now, the results of that. We are going to be heading down for race 1 shortly. Let's just have a little gander. Yeah, we can see the drivers parked on the grid, getting ready to go racing shortly. Let's have the tower and get ready to go. Just try reloading that so we get a proper... There you go. Okay, cool. Alright, so I believe the lights are going to start going out shortly. You can hear some... It's a fixed setup, of course. Alright, we're getting ready to go racing now. I wanted a slightly different camera angle if I can. We're watching Ted Bradbury. And lights out, and away we go. So that's a great launch for Ted Bradbury. Tony Draper very slow off the line, and he's losing it. Who's that in the background losing it as well? That looked like Tom Illingworth. I don't think we have Ollie Evans as it stands, but that doesn't matter for now. Ted Bradbury takes the lead. He absolutely marches off. So we're looking at Ollie Kemp marching up into second place. He's followed by Cam Reedy. Pete Harrod as well, not getting the best of starts. He's lost a couple of positions off the line, but he'll be looking to make inroads there as quick as possible. That is not what he needed in his attempts to break through Ted Bradbury for the win of this race. But he's already lining up Cam Reedy. Can he make a move heading down in towards... Is that club corner? I can never remember. So Andy Archer then also gaining a place. So Pete Harrod having a look around the outside. That's a bold move if he can make it stick. It doesn't look like he's going to. Runs it out a little bit wide. That's excellent racing from Cam Reedy. How long can he defend this position? Of course, Pete Harrod coming at him like a bullet. So Pete pulls to the inside. Is he going to make a move stick into Cops? It looks like he is. Cam going to leave him room. Yes, Cam is going to hang on around the outside. That's great racing from both of them. So this is a pretty awkward place to want to be racing now. It just tightens up ever so much, and it's really fast, but how much do you back out? So it looks like Pete's getting a decent run through there. Opens the gap up a little bit, but has a slightly neater run through the middle part there, and he's got an excellent drive out of the corner. Cam Reedy goes defensive heading down towards Stowe, but Pete pulls out and draws alongside. He's going to have to go around the outside at Stowe. What have you got? Cam goes pretty defensive, squeezes him to the outside and makes it stick, dives deep into the corner. That is excellent defending. So now, don't forget as well, we've got Andy Archer looking very interested. Is he going to have a look up the inside at Pete Harrod? So Pete going around the outside. Oh, what a move from Pete Harrod. Makes that, it's not all over yet. Cam Reedy hanging on around the outside as best he can, but it looks like Pete's got the move done. Andy Archer looking interested as well. Isn't this unbelievable racing from these three? How is this going to shake out? So Pete Harrod makes his way through. Andy Archer following him. Looks like Pete's going to have the line. They've been absolutely side by side for a few corners now, but Cam Reedy hanging on around the outside. He's going to have the line heading down towards the straight. Pete Harrod gives him loads of room there. Is that going to give Andy Archer the opportunity to get underneath him? That is absolutely fantastic defending from Cameron Reedy. Absolutely brilliant. Oliver Kemp is loving this as well. It means that he's getting a chance to get away as well. So where are we up to then? Pete Harrod having a little look inside and out. Cam Reedy defending for his absolute life here. So it runs a little bit wide. Is Pete going to try and sneak it underneath? Yes, he does. Oh, but he loses the rear end, and Andy Archer goes through. Unbelievable stuff there from Pete Harrod. Unbelievable stuff. So let's just keep an eye on Andy Archer. He's going to be looking at Cam Reedy now. Oh, that was a big mistake from Pete Harrod. Oh, that's a bad miss. All the while, then, Tony Draper catching up to the rear of the field. He's got Pete Harrod just ahead of him. But let's keep an eye on Andy Archer, having a little look going into Maggots and Beckett's. Not really room to get any overtaking done there, unless you're Max Verstappen and it's raining, of course. But we are neither of those things on this day. So Andy now gets a decent exit there from Cam Reedy. Of these four drivers lying astern like this. So let's have a look at Ollie Kemp. He's heading through Stowe Corner now. Sitting pretty, as I would have said. Ted Bradbury's about three and a bit seconds up the road. Cam Reedy about 3.5 seconds down on him. So he's pretty comfy now. He's going to feel like the smart thing to do right now is just to keep it, take it easy, keep it nice and chill. And right now we've got Andy Archer being accosted by Pete Harrod from the rear. What has Pete got for Andy? He's going to want to, of course, points for every race as well. So 25 points on offer for this race, 25 points on offer for the next one. So there are 50 points on the table tonight. And Pete Harrod is going to want to open his account strongly today. And this race has not gone to plan for him. Tony Draper looking interested in the back at the back there. So Pete sets up to try and get a good exit there. Takes a much higher line than Andy Archer. Let's see if that helps him out. He should get a decent tow, but Andy getting a little bit of a tow from the driver behind him. Pete sticking behind him, drawing in nice and close. Is he going to go for a move up the inside into Club Corner? Looks like he is. Yes, he does. Makes the move stick. That's well done. And Tony Draper looking pretty interested as well. Let's see what he's got. Runs a little bit wide, unfortunately. So Pete Harrod chasing after Cam Reedy. This battle resumes once again. We've seen some absolutely brilliant racing so far. Absolutely brilliant racing so far. So we're heading down towards Maggots and Beckett's now. Pete Harrod still on the hunt. Still in the hunt. There is still 10 minutes of this race left. And you would argue probably that Ollie Camp isn't quite on the same pace. So what Pete Harrod needs is to get through Cam Reedy. Oh, Cam Reedy's made a little mistake there. Let's have a little look and see what we see if we can see a replay on that. So here he goes. Yeah, just runs a little bit wide. Cameron Reedy. I'm trying to work out how to get rid of that sound for next time, so my apologies. Oh yes, he just gets a little bit on the grass and goes through. So we're back live now. There's that horrible noise. Who's that running a little bit wide? Was that Andy Archer? I think it was. There's Tony running a little bit wide as well. He's going to have to go all the way around that bollard, and Cam Reedy gets back through. So Pete Harrod now is chasing down Ollie Kemp for second place. He's about 8.5 seconds down on Ted Bradbury. Ted Bradbury fastest lap of the race with a 53.9 last time round. That is an excellent lap from him. So Pete Harrod's just done a 54.5. So 6/10 slower on that last lap, but traffic and all of that good stuff. Let's see what we've got. So we've got a comment from Ted Miller. Think Mr. GT World Champ might be in with a chance. Well, never count him out, that's for sure. Chasing down Ollie Kemp now. Just keep an eye on this particular battle. Look, that looks like Tony Draper having a little gander at Andy Archer coming out of... is that Luffield? I can never remember the names of this particular set of corner. Heading down towards Stowe now. Tony right up behind Andy now. Is Andy going to go defensive? No. Tony just tucks it in behind him. This is, like I said, what you don't want is to be side by side going into Maggots and Beckett's. The trick now is just to make sure that you get out the other side as cleanly as possible. It's a nice wide line from Tony, and it's given him an excellent run through the first bit of this. So he should get a decent tow heading down towards Stowe now. Here comes Tony on Andy Archer. Archer, is he going to go defensive? No, he doesn't really. So Tony has the inside line. It's going to have to be bigger on the brakes, I think. But for the most part, for now, gets the move done. And he moves up into 5th place. Tell you what, we've seen some excellent racing so far in this race. So Tom Illingworth, so I've got a note here saying that he had a crash. Let's see if we can see any of that. Oh yeah, runs a little bit wide and loses the rear, and round he goes. So heading back to the action. Heading back to the action. Then this is live. Tony Draper with a little bit of a lockup. He's chasing after Cam Reedy. Just to keep you up to date, Pete Harrod, the gap now to Ollie Kemp, only 2.3 seconds. So he's taken a hefty chunk out of him on that last lap. Ted Bradbury about 9 seconds up on Pete right now. But let's just stick with this battle. Tony having a little look up the inside, going into club corner, and he loses it. Oh no, I wonder if they touched. We're going to have to see a replay of that, I think. So let's have a little gander. So, do they touch? No, I think he just lost it on the curb. Oh, that's a shame. So then, we are back live now. Pete Harrod, once again, the gap now only 2 seconds. Andy Archer chasing down Cam Reedy as well. Plenty of action all over the place right now. Haven't we been spoiled for choice in this race so far? Five and a bit minutes to go of round one of the Century Sim Racing Formula 3 Championship. Thank you for joining us. If you are watching in the chat, we love to hear from you. Please say hello. Mick Dan says, remove that dreadful noise, Jim, lol. Yes, absolutely. I hate that noise as well, Mick. I cannot find the place to get it done, but I promise you for next week, that horrible replay noise won't be there. So, what we're going to do now is go to Pete Harrod, because he's catching Ollie Kemp. So, last time around, new fastest lap of the race for Pete Harrod, a 1:53.84. He goes purple. He is on a march, Mr. World GT Champion. These are not GT cars, of course, a very different drive. A lot lighter, you can toss them around a lot more. So just to give you some context, a 1:53 for Pete Harrod on the last lap, a 1:55.0 for Ollie Kemp, and the gap now only a second. Let's see how much of a battle we're going to get out of these two. Ollie Kemp as well, I met him, we were racing at Silverstone last season on iRacing, and we had some really properly epic wheel-to-wheel stuff, so Ollie really comes with the racecraft, and I'm really excited to see how this is going to shake out. Really excited to see. So we're heading down towards Copse Corner now. The gap less than a second, only 8/10 between the two of them. Pete looking like he's on a march as it stands. So I've got a note here saying, so let's see what this looks like. Tony Draper seems to have lost a little bit more time. So he's having a look at Cam Reedy. Oh no, this is an old note. There he is. He loses it on the curb. My sincerest apologies. Here we go. So, heading down towards Stowe now. The gap, 7/10 of a second. Ted Bradbury must have had a slow lap somewhere along the line, because he's only 4 and a bit seconds up the road now. I wonder what's happened there. Regardless, Pete Harrod chasing down Ollie Kemp with everything that he's got. 3.5 minutes left of race one of round one of the Century Sim Racing Formula 3 Championship. This is where the action is. Although that said, we do have action between Tony Draper and Andy Archer as well. They had a bunch of really good battles all throughout the DTM series that finished running a few weeks ago. Let's see what we've got there. So let's just have a little look at these two heading through Maggots and Beckett's now. Tony is going to want to come back at Andy now. Is that Maggots and Beckett's? Oh no, my apologies. That was turns 1 and 2. So Pete Harrod now. Only 3/10, having a look, certainly in the tow of Ollie Evans. Let's see what he's got here. Ollie running a little bit wider, takes a slightly later apex, but Pete keeping it very tidy indeed. So we've got good battles all over the place. I'm gonna be flipping between the two. So there's Tony chasing down Andy, and Pete, of course, chasing down Ollie Kemp. Sorry, heading down towards Copse Corner. The gap now less than 4/10 of a second. Pete's I would assume, going to try and get a clean run through Maggots and Beckett so that he can make a move up into Stowe. He'll be thinking about Stowe Corner already. Right up on the gearbox of Ollie Evans here. So Pete now gets it lined up, gets a slightly Slightly shallower run through the last part of the corner. And he's going to be in a slipstream now. You can see the time delta on the left-hand side dropping down. The gap now 2.5 tenths. Only 2 tenths. Now, does he take a look? No, not quite. Ollie Evans goes defensive. Puts the car right where he wants it. I would imagine that we're only going to get probably one or two more laps. That Pete Harrod taking a look to the outside. Ollie Kemp greedy on the apex there. Defends his position with all he's got. That was excellent defending from him. Pete wants this, doesn't he? Yes, he does. So here he comes. Always had to get out of that, I would guess. So Ollie Kemp, is he going to have to go defensive up into turn 3? No, he doesn't. He sticks to the racing line to see what Pete's got here. So Pete taking a higher line through, I think that's Farm Corner. I can't remember. I do apologize, everyone, if I'm getting these corner names wrong. But Pete looking to see if he can't get through and take second place. He's under 3 tenths down, gaining in a slipstream all the way. But Ollie Kemp keeping it very tidy so far. Very tidy indeed. Picture perfect from the last lap. Takes a later apex. Now it hugs the inside nicely through Woodcut corner. Sure, Woodcut corner. Not long to go here, of course. Where's Ted Bradbury? So I would guess that there's going to be one more lap after this. So Pete, if he's going to get this done, needs to get it done now. Very, very much running out of time. So where's Tony Draper now on Andy Archer? So he must have made another. He must have had another little moment. Yeah, he's at an off track, according to my thing here. So right, Pete Harrod is now right on the gearbox of Ollie Kemp. Ollie Kemp goes defensive early. Is Pete going to have to go around the outside? It looks like he is. Ollie not giving him much of a squeeze. Pete going to have to go around the outside at Stowe Corner, but Ollie's a little bit ahead. Keeps it to the inside, gives Pete a little bit... Oh, and they touch! And Pete is round! Oh, no! Oh, no, that was such a shame. Has Ollie Kemp got away with that? It looks like he has. Let's have another little look at that. Is that the checkered flag out as well for Ted Bradbury? Yes, I think it is. So Ted Bradbury wins race 1. Ollie Kemp comes home P2 after a fashion. Let's just have a little look at that. So Pete Harrod... Whew. So here they come now. So all the way on the outside. Does Ollie give him a... No, there was plenty of space on the outside. I don't know. What do you reckon in the chat? For me, that feels... I want to see if we can go on board. Let's see if we can go on board. So... Alright, here we go. So this is on board. So yeah, loads of space on the outside. Yeah, there was room. I would argue that Pete probably could have run that out slightly wider. For me, yeah, what a shame. He's going to be absolutely gutted about that. So let's see if this thing's going to bring up the results now. Yes, that's the results of qualifying. So, yeah, so there are the results of race 1. So Ted Bradbury, your winner by 7.5 seconds. Ollie Kemp comes home second. Cam Reedy comes home third. Andy Archer, P4. Pete Harrod manages to get in P5 somehow. Tony Draper, P6. Tom Illingworth, P7. And we didn't get any laps from Ollie Evans. Not sure what's happening there, unfortunately. Yeah, absolute drama there at the end of the race. That was brilliant. So, what we're going to be doing now is taking a short break. The drivers have got 4 or 5 minutes in which to go and get a drink or do whatever they need to do before race 2. So don't go away. I'm going to throw this thing to... I'm gonna laughably call it an ad break, but yeah. Right then, we are back. I'm getting two overlays at the same time here for some reason. Let's just see if we can get rid of all of that. So, championship standings. That's not giving me anything. That's weird. Right. Let's have a look at the starting grid, which is about to. So we're about to go racing for race 2. Lights are on. Ollie Evans is on pole, and lights out and away we go. Good launch there from. Is that Ollie Kemp? I believe it is. So we're keeping it pretty tidy at the front. Pete Harrod looking around the outside. Is that we are joined by Ollie Evans this time, which is great. 3 abreast heading down towards turn 3. Ollie Kemp, is he making a move for the lead? No, he backs out of it. That's probably sensible. 3 abreast heading into farm corner as well. Ollie Evans is in the lead as it stands. Pete Harrod has bossed his way up to second place already. Tom Illingworth P3. Andy Archer has Ollie Kemp for has Ollie Kemp for company. Jesus, this can all go so wrong so quickly if everyone's not careful. And there's contact! There's contact all over the place. That is the winner of race 1 has been taken out. Ted Bradbury. Ollie Kemp is out. Has been hit. Tony Draper's been hit. That's probably going to be a tow back to the pits. But it looks like Pete Harrod has taken the lead. Let's see if we can't get a little look at that. So here we go. This is Pete Harrod taking the lead now. There he goes. Ollie Evans just running a little bit wide there, and Pete just marches his way through. That wasn't too bad. Let's see now if we can't get a sense of what happened in. So here we go. Forgive me, I'll rewind a little bit. So everyone heads down there. So understeers. Does he understeer a little bit? I'm not sure. I think that's just a racing incident. Like, everyone was so bunched up. That's a shame. Okay, so Pete Harrod is currently leading the race. And already building a bit of a gap. He's going to want this very badly, isn't he? So Andy Archer P2 currently. Cam Reedy is P3. Who's that? So there's Ted Bradbury P4 with Ollie Evans behind him. So we've had a pass for P6. Let's have a little look at this, shall we? Oh, it's them trying to get back to the pits. Right. We'll get back to the action, shall we? So Ted Bradbury, here he is. Oh, yes. Here it is. So this is Ted Bradbury having a look at Ollie Evans around the outside at Stowe by the looks of things. Yeah, gets it done pretty neatly. Locks up a little bit and gets the move done. So Cam Reedy now is about 1.5 seconds up on Ted Bradbury. Ted is going to be coming at him as hard as he can now. So the gap out front already, already up to 3 seconds. About 2 seconds back to Cam Reedy, and Ted Bradbury a second and a bit back to him. So I reckon that the fight is going to come from Ted now. Let's see what he's got. Of course, he started last in this particular race. All sorts of action so far. Gap already now less than a second. Let's see what Ted's got here. Heading down towards Stowe. Cam Reedy is going to have to get his elbows out in defence. Fastest lap of the race. Geez, he runs really wide there on the Exodus, so that's going to be a 1x for Cam Reedy. That's an amazing move from Ted Bradbury. He gets really big on the brakes and launches it down into the second to last corner and takes 3rd place. This is a good haul of points in the championship for young Ted Bradbury. He'll be made up with that. That was a great move. 54.3, fastest lap of the race with an overtake. So Andy Archer is next in his sights. He's about two and a bit seconds up. Let's just have a little look at the gaps, shall we? Oh, such a shame for those 3 crashing at the start. But Pete Harrod up front. He's going to be feeling pretty nifty for a win here as long as he can keep it tidy. Ted Bradbury, of course, looking interested at Andy Archer. He's just under 2 seconds up the road now. Ted is going to have him firmly in his sights. So let's have a little look at Andy Archer, shall we? There he is. We're back at Ted. There you go. I want to get the helicopter cam if I can. I got a helicopter cam? I've got a blimp cam. Nope, that's not what we want. So we're on board with Ted Bradbury, taking all of the track limits into account there. Going through Maggots and Beckett's now. So currently this was your pole sitter, of course, for race 1. Taking a good line through Maggots and Beckett's there. So I've got a note here saying there was a crash for Oliver Evans. Let's have a little look at that. So he's just coming through Stowe, heading into the penultimate corner now. What have we got here? Oh yeah, just loses it under braking. And round he goes. Keeps the wheel spinning. Yeah, that's all good, so he doesn't beach it. Okay then. So Ted Bradbury now chasing down Andy Archer. The gap less than a second now. He's taken a good chunk of him out of him on that last lap. Fastest lap of the race for Pete Harrod, a 1:54.2 on the last lap. Ted's last lap was a 54.2 as well, so not a lot to choose between these two. Andy did a 55.8, so Ted really did take a good chunk out of him. We're going to keep a close eye on this battle. I think that this is the battle that we want to see very much. If you have just joined us, thank you once again. This is round 1 of the Century Sim Racing Formula 3 Championship. My name is James Whitehouse and I'm your host this evening. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, please don't forget to subscribe, smash that bell. That means that you're going to hear from us whenever we go live. So, wait, was that a move for the lead that I missed because I was talking? Sorry everybody, let's go back and have a little look at that, shall we? So what happens here? Oh yeah, Andy Archer just runs a little bit wide, unfortunately, and gives Ted the place pretty easily. Oh, that's a shame. Didn't quite get the battle that we were hoping for, but yeah. We march on. So, Ted Bradbury now herring after Pete Harrod. Let's see what they've got. The gap is about 6 seconds, and I reckon Ted is going to have to pull his finger out if he's going to catch Pete here, because very similar in terms of pace, of course, between the two of them. They were first and second on the grid for race 1 after qualifying. Let's just have a look at the gaps now. So everything's spreading out a little bit as it stands. Right, Pete Harrod has just done a 54.2. Is that what he's just done? No, he's just done a 53.9. That was a slow lap for Pete. Oh no, sorry, forgive me. That's the new fastest lap of the race. I was thinking we were in the 52s in the fastest laps, but no, 54.1 for Ted Bradbury. So he's lost a little bit of time to Pete. I think all Pete's got to do here is keep it nice and clean. Keep it nice and clean, and he should fairly easily march off for his first win of the season. A little bit of action there between. I wonder what's happened to Ollie Evans. Huh. Haven't got any action on Ollie Evans at the moment. He's not moving for some reason. Okay. So we are watching Andy Archer as it stands right now. Cam Reedy is catching up to him. So Andy Archer, his last lap was a 57.2. Cam did a 55.4, so there's a better part of 2 seconds taken out of him there. He's now chasing Andy Archer, and I reckon this is where the... let's have a look at the battles box here. So this is going to give us all the gaps, and I suppose, yeah, a little bit redundant. We're doubling up on the same information, but let's see what else we've got here. So these are the lap times. So. Oh, that's quite interesting, isn't it? It's been a solid drive from Cam all night so far, I must say. Oh no, it's a game crash for Ollie Evans. That is such a shame. So we are watching Cam and Andy. So Andy, for the most part, been faster than Cam so far, but Cam just taking chunks out of him in the last couple of laps. Andy had a really slow lap, a 157.2 on his fourth lap. Lost the better part of 2 seconds. Cam going ever so slightly quicker on that last lap. He did a 55.9 to Andy's 56.0. Gets a little bit leery through there, does Andy. And now Cam is looking pretty interested now, I would have said. The gap down to 1.2 seconds. Of course, 5 seconds up the road, there's Ted Bradbury. He's taken a good chunk out of Pete Harrod on that last lap, so let's just have a look there. Yeah, 7 tenths. I can tell that this is what it's going to be like for the rest of this race. About 9.5 minutes to go for race 2 of the Century Sim Racing Formula 3 series. This is round 1 from Silverstone. Of course, what we're going to see throughout the course of the season is everyone getting more and more to grips with the car, having a good feel for it, getting it underneath them. We found that in the DTM series. The first round, everyone struggled quite a lot, but then come the last round, everyone was absolutely on it. So I look forward to the same here. Let's have a look at Cameron Reedy. He's looking at Andy Archer still. Gap, of course, now down to less than a second. But Cam Reedy is all over the back of him now. Let's see what he's got. We've got two good races here involved in this battle. Neither of them going to give or ask for any quarter whatsoever. Plenty of time to get any moves done as well. So Andy is going to be defending for his life. Let's see what the lap times look like as they come across the line. So Andy does a 56.8 and Cam takes another 6.5 tenths out of him. Yeah, 56.8 for Andy and a 56.2 for Cameron. This is getting very spicy. This is most definitely where the action is. Oh, what did I miss? I was busy. I was typing something. Right. So let's go back and have a little have a look at the replay here. So we're looking at Andy Archer coming out. Just lights up the rear a little bit. And oh, that's a shame. That has totally taken the sting out of the tail of this particular battle. That is such a shame. But Cam Reedy blasts up into third place. It's been a very solid drive from him all night, I must say. Of course, the gap between the two leaders only 5 seconds. Let's head back to reality, shall we? So, looking at the lap times, then Ted still taking little nibbles out of Pete as it stands. Only a 10.5 on the last lap. What is it going to be this lap? Yeah, 2.5 tenths there. He is catching him, but I don't know that he's catching him quickly enough. 53.9 last lap. That was the new fastest lap of the race for Ted. Alright, so let's have a little look at the gap. So Tony Draper is chasing down Tom Illingworth. His last lap was about 3 seconds quicker than Tom's last lap. So let's have a look and see what the lap times look between the two of them. So Tony taking chunks out of him. I think Tom's having a bit of a struggle as it stands. He must have damage or something, I would guess. I think that's the only thing that would explain the difficulties that he's having. Wonder how Ollie Kemp is getting on there. He is. Of course, involved in some collisions at the start of the race. Unfortunately, this lot. So we've got a load of the drivers that we enjoyed an awful lot taken out on the last lap, which is such a shame. So the gap now, Tony to Tom, is only 1.5 seconds. Tony chasing him down. The last laps for each of them, Tom doing a 57.3, Tony doing a 54.5. Oh man, it's a shame he's not in this race, because we would like to have seen a good battle. There's a good chunk of them all sort of doing very similar lap times. We would have liked to have seen a three-way battle between Cameron, Andy, and Tony. That's for sure. So, we are watching Tony Draper hunting down Tom Illingworth. The gap now less than half a second. Let's go on board with Tony, shall we? There is Tom just ahead of him. He's got a good toe already. Tom going fairly defensive. Heading down towards Stowe. Is Tony going to have a look around the inside? Is he going to have a look up the inside? Yes, he does. Gets pretty bold on the brakes. Do they touch? I think they did touch a little bit, but managed to get away with it. Certainly Tony did anyway. I think, yeah. Lets him back past. That was pretty gentlemanly of him, I must say. I don't know that I would have been that kind, but so let's see what these two have got. Quite a long way off Andy Archer in P4, so this battle for P5 is only going to be the battle of P5, I would guess. So, you know, nothing lost by being a gentleman on that in that particular occasion. That being said, though. Oh no, wait, that was earlier on. I've got this thing that comes up that tells I've got an event log. So I've just the last event is Andy Archer crashed, but that was a little while ago. So Tony now chasing down Tom Illingworth. Let's jump on board with Tony and see. We're getting a nice tow heading down towards Club Corner. Is he gonna have a little look? No, but he's gonna try and take a slightly later apex. Just to be quite careful there. It's a very high line through there. I can't remember the name of that corner at all, but he's got a good drag. So let's go off and have a look. Is he going to get the line down into Cop's Corner? Yes, I think he is. Got to keep it tidy, boys. Got to keep it tidy. This is Tony Draper. Looks like he's going to go up into 5th place. Is he? Yeah, Tom lets him go not fairly easily, but tries to hang it around the outside, but Tony had the line and got the move done. Very nice. So 2.5 minutes left of this race. Pete Harrod is out in the lead. Let's see what the gap looks like. So Ted still taking good chunks out of him. The gap now down to under 4.5 seconds. But Pete is doing exactly what he needs to do in order to bag the maximum number of points here. Just driving it home, keeping it solid. No need to break the lap record every lap. So he was nearly a second slower on that. Oh yes, we've got that graphic up, haven't we? So let's see what Ted looks like in his pursuit of the win of this race. Gets a little bit sideways coming out of there, doesn't he? I hate to be that guy, but it looks very much like Pete has this under control for now. What's going on behind him? So Andy Archer, the gap. Oh yes, he had a bit of a spin, didn't he? So he's about 14 seconds behind Cameron, but 14 seconds ahead of Tony. Oh, I guess he must have had another moment. So here he comes. This is Andy Archer. We're going to see what happened here. Oh, just lights it up on the rears. Did well to hold it, really. That could have been an awful lot worse. Right, and we're back live. He's just heading through Cop's Corner. So let's see. The gap out front now, 4.3 seconds. He is catching Pete, but not catching him quite quickly enough. I would have thought, touch wood, with less than a minute to go of this race. I would guess then that means that Pete is now on the final lap. In fact, yes, he is. Excuse me as I kick the microphone stand. So Pete Harrod looking pretty comfy. All he's got to do is drive a clean lap here, and he's going to walk away with 25 points to put towards his championship. This is a nice graphic, isn't it? So, where are we now? We're heading towards Maggots and Beckett's for the final time in race 2 of round 1 of the Century Sim Racing Formula 3 Championship. We're watching race leader Pete Harrod as he comes around to get most of the way through completing the final tour of this race and of this event. Don't forget, we will be back next week as well. The next round, I forget where the next round is. I believe it might be Brands Hatch or the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. I can't remember. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can like us on Facebook as well. You can like us on Instagram. We're at Century Sim or Century Sim Racing on all of those things. You would be doing us a massive favor. But for now, then, Pete Harrod comes through the final corner and comes across the line to win race 2 of round 1 of the Century Sim Racing Formula 3 Championship and bags himself 25 points. Ted Bradbury comes across the line in second. He's going to be your championship leader. Here's Cam Reedy heading towards the last couple of corners. He's driven really excellently tonight, I must say. Bags himself, I believe, another podium. How did he finish at the end of race 1? I can't remember for the life of me, but he comes third in this particular race. A little bit of a gap back now. Andy Archer heading towards the final couple of corners. He's driven pretty well tonight as well. Couple of moments in this race that he won't be super proud of, but he's driven excellently all night. We're very glad to have him in this championship. So he comes home in 4th place. Tony Draper coming around the final corner. He finishes 5th place in a race that he will wish that had gone slightly better. Racing incidents. That's what happens in a reverse grid sometimes. Unfortunately, these things happen. That's racing. I'm sure he'll come back strong at the next round. So Tom Illingworth finishes 6th, and Ollie Kemp, also involved in some incidents at the start, comes home in 7th. And of course, Ollie Evans had a game crash, so he's done. That looks like Ollie Kemp smashing himself to bits as he comes across the line. So then, let's see what kind of... So let's get the results up then, shall we? Can I have the results? There you go. Right, and so here are the results. Ted Bradbury. Why isn't that giving me everything? That's odd. I wonder why it's not showing the proper points. Oh well, not to bother, not to worry at all. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is see if I can get some drivers into the chat. Who do we want to talk to? Let's talk to Cam Reedy and see if he wants to tell us about his evening. So let me just send him a message. Tell you what, that was a compelling motor race, wasn't it? Right, so there's the results of race 2. Pete Harrod comes home your winner, 4.6 seconds up. Ted Bradbury P2. Cam Reedy finishes 3rd. Andy Archer is 4th. Tony Draper comes home 5th. Tom Illingworth comes home 6th. Ollie Kemp 7th. And Ollie Evans finishes 8th, but he had a game crash, so he finished 7 laps down. I want to see... Oh wait, I'm not in the comms chat either, so yes I am now. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Forget doing this. I'm going to jump in. There's a few drivers left in the voice chat, so let's jump in and see what they've got. I'm going to have to interrupt them a little bit so that we don't get anything too unsavory on the stream.
Place.
I just didn't get pushed hard enough because I'm not used to the car, and the cold tires just fucks me up, so I didn't overdo it.
Yeah, of course, mate. I get you. I should have been more conservative.
Yeah.
I got through.
Gentlemen,
hey.
Good evening. We are on the live stream, so say hello to the people at home.
Oops,
Hi, people at home.
Oops, I swore. Andy Archer, how is that for you, pal?
Yeah, good, mate. As you know, not really into my single seaters, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was well worth it, to be honest. It surprised me a lot.
Absolutely. No, you did very well, I must say. Cam, I've got to say, I think possibly my driver of the day, possibly, just because of the amount of side-by-side action you had throughout all of that. How was that for you?
Yeah, that was so much fun. Pete, honestly, I don't know how we didn't touch.
Yeah,
Right.
I know what you mean. Like, it was absolutely breathless racing. You can,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching that bit back very much. Ted Bradbury, then, I think you're going to be the championship leader now because you scored a win and a P2. So well done. How was that for you?
It was great. I really enjoyed it. Like I imagine everyone else. It was great. I can't wait to see what happens in the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the plan is to get more drivers and keep going from there, and hopefully it gets harder for you to be coming through the field like that. But yeah, congratulations and well done. Tom, how was that for you, pal?
Horrendous.
Oh no.
Yeah, just find it really hard, the tire model in this game. It's super spiky, so just need to be very easy on the car, get used to it.
Sure. Okay, well, I'll let you guys get back to it. Thank you very much. You can start swearing again now. So, thank you for joining us then, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed that. This was round 1 of the Century Sim Racing Formula 3 Championship. We will be back next Tuesday at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, I believe. My name is James Whitehouse. You've been watching some racing, and have a good night.